happen, and this is exactly what I was going to do. So I trained for that, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, it was a beautiful submission victory. You started off in the southpaw stance. Was that to try to avoid the low calf kick?
Você começou com a postura de canhota. Foi para evitar tomar uma porrada na canela?
Ele é o cara, exatamente. Eu sabia que ele ia querer usar esse jogo comigo, um jogo contra o Sabina, né? E acabou nocauteando. Mas eu sou um cara bem inteligente, eu sabia que ele ia fazer isso. E eu vim para quebrar o jogo dele. Comecei chutando ali com a perna esquerda. E ele não esperava que chutasse, ele nunca me viu chutando em luta. Então eu mostrei para ele que eu sou um cara completo. E eu tô aqui para desafiar o Breno Moreno. Breno Moreno, você quer lutar comigo em dezembro? Eu sou o melhor peso por pound. Então estou aqui à sua disposição, meu irmão. Vamos lá, Dana, faz acontecer essa luta em dezembro.
You're exactly right. That's exactly what we're doing. We changed our stance because he never saw me kick on previous fights, but I knew that I could kick him. He's never had that on film. And I want to face Brandon Moreno and Dana make this happen. That's the fight that I want to happen.
Davison, one of the things that was beautiful about this fight was that it showed the full range of your talents, not just your power, but also the beautiful transition. When he went from the takedown, holding onto your leg, you spiraled to attack his leg, he defended to that, and you turned that into a guillotine. It was just a spectacular sequence and a beautiful transition. I want you to take a look at that and really truly appreciate it, because it was one of the most beautiful transitions from a takedown attempt to a submission that we've seen in a long time.
Para você dar uma olhada nessa transição que aconteceu, espetacular, que você estava completamente preso e você conseguiu reverter a situação e transformar isso numa guilhotina. Quero que você olhe para isso e fale um pouco sobre isso que aconteceu.
Bom, essa é uma posição onde eu aprendi na época do ABCD, então é meu abecedário e eu sei aplicar ela até em sonhos, cara. Eu sou muito bom de guilhotina, eu faço isso a minha vida toda. Então esse cara veio fazer algo que ele não deveria ter feito, tentar me colocar para baixo. O cara que tentar me colocar para baixo, ele está cometendo o maior erro da vida dele dentro do octógono, porque eu vou finalizá-lo. Então ele cometeu esse erro e pagou por isso.
That position is my ABC. I started training in that position, and he knew that he was supposed to challenge this position. That was the biggest mistake that he could do, and that was the biggest mistake that a man can commit inside of the octagon. He knew it was going to happen, and that.
Well, sir, congratulations on the first successful defense of your flyweight title, and I can't wait to see you again. A beautiful decision, beautiful submission tonight, and a spectacular result for you. Enjoy it, and we'll see you again in the octagon, maybe against Brandon Moreno, but whoever it is against, I will look forward to that fight.
Parabéns, uma bela submissão, boa bela finalização, a gente não sabe ainda, mas vamos esperar que você enfrente o Brandon Moreno, mas parabéns para uma ótima.
Sabaté, Suri, tô chegando, viu? Amo vocês.
I love everybody in Soaring, Pará, Brazil.
Boas.
Davison Figueiredo, ladies and gentlemen.
That's pound by pound.
Certainly has an argument after that result tonight. And Joe Rogan's a Renaissance man, but he doesn't speak Brazilian Portuguese. I don't know what to tell you. That post-fight interview brought to you by EA Sports UFC 4. Shape your legend. On EA Sports UFC 4, get up to 40% off for a limited time on Xbox One and PS4. UFC 255, Figueiredo versus Perez, has been brought to you by Spotify. On December 1st, Spotify will be the new exclusive home of the Joe Rogan Experience. Watch new episodes, re-experience past favorites, catch the latest clips and more for free, only on Spotify. In partnership with DAV, Disabled American Veterans, keeping our promise to America's veterans. And by P3, the official protein snack of UFC. UFC Fight Pass is launching another wave of shows this fall, including new episodes of Fight Lore, Year of the Fighter, and Knockouts Only. Get caught up on the most in-depth shows in all of combat sports and head to UFC Fight Pass right after tonight's fights. And in a few minutes, don't miss a recap of all the action on the UFC 255 post-show on ESPN+. Gilbert Melendez, Brett Okamoto, and Heidi Antrol join me to break it all down right after we get off the air. It is only on ESPN+. All right, John Anik, Joe Rogan, Daniel Cormier putting a bow on things here tonight. And Joe, you heard Davison Figueiredo in that post-fight interview with you talk about Alex Perez making the ultimate mistake tonight. Given that guillotine, is there criticism to be laid levied at Perez for the fight IQ in that situation.
I just think that was how he got stuck. I mean, there was a scramble. He got his leg caught, and in the scramble, like to bend that position, wound up in that spot where Davison could grab his neck. And you know, look, Davison's really good at that position, but it was a beautiful. He's not giving himself enough credit,
right?
Because the transition was so smooth and sweet. The way he did it, just to spiral around the leg, and then Alex has to bend, and then unless he wants him to take his back, he has to turn into him.
Right.
He turns into him, and boom, he falls right into the guillotine. And the fact that his squeeze is so tight that his head was almost out. Perez had to feel that his head was almost out, but he couldn't resist. He had to tap.
Well, you could see it, right? You could see that Perez thought he was out. You could see his head start to pop a little bit. But I mean, once again, you watch these guys that become stars, guys and gals who become stars in the UFC, and now performances that really make people take notice. And right here, you see Davis try to do a back trip. Alex doesn't fall, so he jumps on his legs as if he's going to leg lock him. Alex has no choice but to turn back towards. He has to turn back towards Davison. Drop the hammer fist, but look, he's doing nothing but riding him there. Figueiredo just does a fantastic job of going to find his position. And he's almost out here, but it's still in there very tight, and he has no choice but to tap. And the champ retains his championship in spectacular fashion.
I forgot how it went down. Davison he has Davison's back for a second, and Davison
all he's doing is ride
guillotine.
Joe, all he's doing is ride him. Joe, he's trying to ride him to his back. He's trying to just follow. He's following the position to his back, and Davison actually turns back and hooks the head in order to get that submission.
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
He can't, like, that was all him.
Right.
You know, that wasn't Alex making a mistake. That's all him.
Yeah.
And to think, John, Alex is a wrestler. That's where he wants to be.
Right.
He doesn't want to be anywhere else but riding the hips of Davison Figueiredo. But not only did Davison Figueiredo go and chase the net, he actually went and got the full guard. Alex Perez was on his back completely. He was able to get the legs back through, get to the hook, get to the guillotine, and finish the fight. It was spectacular.
Gentlemen, pleasure's all down on this side of the table. Joe Rogan,
So
Daniel
good to
Cormier.
see you guys.
So good to see you all too.
He was awesome.
So maybe
so much
somehow,
fun.
some way I can convince Joe Rogan to come to
The UFC fight out.
the executive producers of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC President Dana White, Ari Emanuel, and Patrick Weitzel. Our Executive VP of Operations and Production is Craig Borsari. VP of Live Production and Coordinating Producer, Zachary Paul Candido. Tonight's show has been produced by Michael LaPlante and directed by the venerable Anthony Giordano. All right, UFC 255 is behind us. Not before Caitlin Chukagian turned in another signature win. She disposes of Cynthia Calvillo properly and puts herself right back in the Flyweight Championship picture. Tim meant business tonight as Tim Means gets past Platinum Mike Perry. A lot of money came in on Tim Means. It proved to be sharp money as he gets the nod on the scorecards, and the rest of the way it was championship fights. Valentina Shevchenko tested early, but again she reigns supreme. She is the class of the women at 125 pounds. And after her successful title defense over 25 minutes, we gave way to Davison Figueiredo and Alex Perez in less than 2 minutes into that fight. It was Deus de Geha with the 5th career guillotine win for him. With that, for Joe Rogan, Daniel Cormier, and the rest of our crew here in Vegas and beyond, John Anik saying so long from the Valley. We will see you December 12th for UFC 256. Until then, good night.
top tier of the bracket.
The performance of the night went to Buckley and Antonina, and then the first fight of the night won the fight of the night. They all won $50,000.
Dana,
Yeah.
Pretty impressive performance from Davison Figueiredo in the main event. Just wanted to get your thoughts on kind of his performance tonight and this emerging force as a dominant flyweight champion.
Yeah, he looked incredible tonight. He's fun to watch. He can knock you out. He can submit you. And the guy's he's got that meanness to him. When he comes into fight, he's fun.
Yeah. It's funny, right? Because the flyweight division was the one that was always hard to market. Do you feel like this guy's simple to market? I mean, he's out there, the god of war, out there trying to just crush people?
Yeah, I mean, you never know what people, if you don't like this guy, stop watching fights. You need to find a new hobby if you don't like watching him.
Unique position tonight because Brandon Moreno, it seemed like kind of a de facto #1 contender fight with Royval. He wins. He says he wants the champ. Davison says, I want Moreno. So is that done deal? I mean, is that the right fight?
We're going to keep him here. He's not going back to Brazil. We're going to turn him right around.
Really? How fast do you think that'll happen?
December.
Wow. That fight right there will happen sometime in December?
Yeah.
Very
That's what we're working on.
Very cool. Valentina Shevchenko, talk about her. I mean, obviously she looked great again tonight. People now get excited when she loses a round that, there's something going on. So what did you think of her?
Yeah, the odds dropped like crazy when she lost that round. I bet you that knucklehead that bet 12,000 to win 600 was freaking out in the second round. Yeah. But even though she lost the second round, she looked completely dominant tonight. Started picking her apart later on, and obviously Maya is super tough, man. I mean, so tough. And, I think that Andrade Shevchenko is a very fun fight. And the thing I love about that fight, too, is that Shevchenko's at a place in her career now where she needs an opponent that people think actually has a chance of beating her. And I think we all know that Andrade does.
Have you talked to Valentina yet? I mean, that does seem like the fight to make, about like how soon she'd be able to fight or anything like that.
No.
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 Want to ask you one more about the main card. Shogun Rua, obviously a legend of the sport, but it looked a little bit flat tonight. He's kind of talked about the end being near, that sort of thing. Have you had a chance to discuss them at all?
No, but I hope it is. I hope that tonight was his last night. I would like to see him retire.
Somebody on the front in their career, Joaquin Buckley, had another pretty fantastic night. Maybe not as viral as the first one, but I don't know how you would do it again. But what did you think of his performance?
Yeah, I mean, he went in there against a guy who was undefeated tonight and went right after him, throwing tons of bombs, never got winded, never got tired. Almost knocked him out at the end of the first round, kept his composure, came back in the second and finished it. I mean, you couldn't look any better than he did tonight.
Last couple for me, Conor McGregor kind of announced this week that he's signed on to fight January 23rd. Are we ready to announce Conor, Dustin, January 23rd, Abu Dhabi?
I think we did, didn't we?
If it was on the broadcast, I don't know.
No, I mean, we announced it the day that he signed the bout agreement. It's a fight.
All good to go. And then his reps came out and said later on after that, Pacquiao is a fight that they'd like to see. Is that something
Who said that?
That Conor's reps said, Audi said it, his manager, that he'd like to see Conor Pacquiao, and that's going to happen at some point. What do you have thoughts on that? Is that something you're interested in seeing?
I don't have any thoughts on it now.
And last one for me, Mark Ratner tonight, inducted into the Hall of Fame. Just wanted to, get your thoughts on that and what he means to the company and the sport, and ask what is the plan for the Hall of Fame? I mean, it's kind of a weird year, I know. So are we doing an induction, or how's that going to work?
Yeah, first of all, obviously Mark is a legend in the sport of boxing and mixed martial arts. One of the greatest guys ever, you know, and just, there's so many people hate each other in this sport. Nobody hates Mark Ratner. Everybody loves Ratner. He's one of the most respected guys ever in combat sports. So to finally induct him into the Hall of Fame tonight means a lot to us as a company. You know, I know you saw a lot of Lorenzo in the video. You know, very, very close to Lorenzo too, and to many of you. So it was a good night.
Are there plans for like a ceremony this year or anything?
I have no clue, man. This fucking wacky world we're living in right now. I don't know what's going to happen.
What took so long to get him in?
Good point. Yeah. No, he deserves it.
I wanted to ask you about Valentina. You know, she's at a spot like where people are disappointed when she fights like that. What do you have to do to take it to that next level to kind of get the fans back, you know, where she's absolutely dominant against a very good fighter and people are disappointed in how she goes? What do you think she has to do to kind of turn that around again?
She doesn't have to do anything. Just keep doing what she's doing. Keep winning. You can't listen to the fucking fans and the media. You fight your own fight. You fight the way that you need to fight. It's not like she, laid and prayed on somebody for the whole thing. She was picking her apart at the end of that fight. I got to look here, but I'm assuming from all the fights that I've seen in my life that Maya's nose is broken. I mean, it looked like a bad road. Her nose was going a bunch of different directions. I mean, when you go in and dominate somebody the way that she did, you don't have to listen to anybody else. Just keep doing what you're doing.
How do you feel like when you look at her and Amanda? Do you think it makes sense to put them together again at some point, given how close their two fights were and what she's doing in her division?
Well, let's talk about Jessica Andrade first. I mean, Andrade is a very, very good fight for her. That's a tough fight. I mean, if you're going to go out and be safe the first couple of rounds against somebody, you know, like Jennifer, what are you going to do against Andrade? Andrade is going to bring her a lot of things she's never seen before. Not to mention the power that Andrade has. I mean, she just knocked a girl out, a really good girl, like the number 2 girl in the world, with a body shot. She's a real problem for Shevchenko that she's going to have to figure out. And if she does, I think the fight that makes more sense is Weili Zhang will fight here soon, and after Weili fights, that maybe you do those two. But I don't know. Just off the top of my head, that's what I'm thinking.
And one last question about Valentina. What is it in your mind that she is best at? Like, you know, she's so well-rounded. Like, you know, you say, hey, she's dominant at this. Is there anything in your mind when you look at her striking, or, you know, what would you say is her best attribute?
I would agree with you that she's very well-rounded. I mean, some of those slams tonight, her ground game, her stand-up is ridiculous. When she lands punches, they're hard, straight punches. Obviously, her kicks are nasty too. You know, she is a handful for anybody.
And do you you almost got rid of the featherweight division at one point, and now you have so many fun fights out there that are potentially out there. Do you think it's just a cyclical thing? Like when you were thinking of getting rid of them, was it just because guys weren't performing, or what was it that led you to even consider that decision?
Yeah, well, I never, we would sit in matchmaking meetings and battle over this thing forever. And obviously I'm glad we didn't, but, the division needed a little bit of rebuilding. We rebuilt it, and this is the result.
How do you think this kid, I mean, obviously he's just getting started as a champion. I know not a kid, but, just getting started as a champion. You look at somebody like Mighty Mouse, who had been around for a long time. Do you see him comparing favorably to Demetrius in terms of what he can do in the cage and the kind of fighter he would be?
Yeah, well, this kid is so much different. I mean, he's mean. This kid's mean. He comes in with bad intentions, and he looks like he's got bad intentions. And I think people gravitate toward those type of fighters more. And let's see if he can go on a run, that can make the kid a legend. I mean, he's got all the tools, and that, like I said, he can knock you out, he can submit you, and he's a scary little dude, man.
And then the last thing I wanted to ask you is, where do you go with Mike Perry? He's 500 in his career. He's giving you some trouble and whatnot. After that fight tonight, do you think he has a future in the UFC?
Listen, he's always tough and fun to watch. That third round, what I really like about Mike Perry is, depending on how you guys scored it, but I'm sure you gave him the first round, gave Tim the second, and the third was up for grabs. He tried to win that fight, man. He stood on his ground, and those two just started trading punches. He's fun to watch. I don't know. I don't know what it means where he goes after tonight, but he's a fun fighter.
Right. You mentioned you wanted Davidson in December. Would that be the pay-per-view card? Because I know the 19th card is already pretty stacked.
Yeah, we don't know. It would be one of those.
Have you spoken to Brandon Royval after his shoulder pop?
I haven't.
And then you spoke about Shogun, but what about Paul Craig? He looks very impressive. He made Shogun tap to strikes, which I'm sure no one thought would happen. So what do you go with him moving forward?
Yeah, no, he looked good, and not to take anything away from him at all. He came in and did what he had to do tonight. But just being honest, Shogun didn't look like Shogun to me tonight. Shogun looked old and looked like a shell of his former self tonight. So, yeah, I'd like to see him hang it up, hopefully.
And what'd you make of Kyle Dawkins, young middleweight, coming off his first loss, gets his first big win in the UFC? What'd you make of his performance?
Yeah, right. No, he did what he needed to do tonight. Definitely. Yes, sir.
How does it feel to see somebody from the Contender Series? I know it didn't work out for him, but see the show works.
Yeah, no. I mean, listen, I was talking about this the other day. If you look at the Ultimate Fighter and the people that came off that, and some of the legends of the sport came off the Ultimate Fighter, and these kids that are coming out of the Contender are way nastier than the kids from early on in the Ultimate Fighter. You're going to see world champions coming off that show. It's going to happen.
I know with pandemic going on, nobody knows what to expect from today to tomorrow. But do you see yourself coming down to Texas like your friend Eddie Hearn them to put on live shows? Because that's what they're doing in the boxing side. Like Canelo comes up, I think, December 19th. Earl Spence is fighting in 2 weeks. And it's all because Texas is so wide open. You see how it happened in 2021 and getting back to live events?
I'll go anywhere where I can sell out the whole arena.
Oh, it's constricted. It's not the whole arena, but
yeah.
You can get
then you won't see me in Texas then.
Well, what about Jerry World though? You got enough room?
Won't do it. No, I'll stay here at the Apex instead of going somewhere where we can't have a full crowd.
And how's it feel good to be the trendsetter for all of sports? I got people in the NBA side like, man, I know you cover MMA. Dana might be the sportsman of the year. How's it cool to see your name come up in that conversation for turning things around when everybody thought everything was bleak?
I appreciate it. Thank you.
How's it feel to have your name come up in that
That doesn't suck. I appreciate it. Especially if you look at the criticism that I took being first and going in. So to hear that now, yeah, doesn't suck.
Hey, Dana. Down here.
Yeah. Did you have another one? Or
one last one.
Go ahead.
When will you think that we'll get to see a mega fight where we have like you got John and Israel and they go back and forth, and now I know you got Izzy going to fight Blakovic.
Yeah.
Will that fight ever materialize, or just Twitter where they're just talking back and forth?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, it's all talk right now, but Israel Adesanya wants to move up and take that fight. So we'll see how this whole thing plays out. It's not done yet, but yeah, they're interested, and so are we.
Is John officially a heavyweight though?
No, not that I'm aware of. He hasn't told us.
So, I saw earlier this week it was announced Tony Ferguson is fighting Charles Oliveira. So I was wondering what that meant for Michael Chandler, because it looked like him and Tony were potentially going to fight.
Yeah, well, he just cut weight. He had just cut the weight in Abu Dhabi, so he couldn't do it. So, you know how we do it. We roll, we make fights, and these fights will happen, and then we'll see what's next for Chandler.
Would a name would you look at booking him against like Gaethje or maybe Dan Hooker, or what sort of?
I don't know. I mean, obviously those are the two guys that are left, but I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out.
Thanks, Dana.
Dana, back here to your left.
Hey.
So, Buckley has some serious bad blood with James Krause. And I think a lot of people would be interested to see if that could be made. I know Krause is a welterweight, but he fought at middleweight less than a year ago. Any possibility that could be arranged?
Yeah, I didn't know that until tonight. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that's definitely a fight we can make. And obviously, if they both want it bad enough, why would I say no?
Absolutely. Antonina Shevchenko, how impressed were you with her performance?
I was very impressed with her performance tonight. Her ground game and overall game has come so far. Yeah, she looked incredible tonight. I mean, yeah, she won the performance of the night tonight. So
absolutely,
she looked great.
Also, with Mike Perry missing weight like this, I'm sure you've heard people talking about larger fines, a bigger percentage that the fighter that misses weight. What do you think about that? Might that be something that could be implemented?
Yeah, it's not up to me, though. That's up to the athletic commission.
You would support it, though, if they made it a larger.
Sure, they can do whatever they want.
Makes sense. Last thing, any thought of a women's atomweight division, 105?
I have thought about it. This isn't the year to do it.
Right.
Definitely not the year.
Sometime in the future, though.
Possible, yeah.
Awesome.
I've definitely thought about it and kicked it around.
I think it'd be great.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Dana, would you be concerned about Davidson making weight twice in a month?
Yeah.
Are you going to have a backup fighter or something?
I don't know. We didn't even make that fight yet.
You were talking about Shogun. What's the next step? Are you going to ask him to retire? Are you going to talk to him? How many fights does he still have?
Yeah, I think he has 2 fights left on his deal. But yeah, I'd like to see him retire.
My last question. Is Anderson released from UFC, from his contract?
Yes. Anderson is released from his contract. Yep.
Last one, prediction for Tyson versus Jones Jr.?
I don't know. It's such a tough one to call. You know, when's the last time we saw either one of them fight? Huh? What? What did the Tasmanian Devil say?
It's easy to call.
Easy to call? What is it? Tell me.
Roy Jones.
By what? Knockout?
Well, there's no knockout, so it'll just be a,
There's no knockouts?
No, they're not.
They're not allowed to knock each other out?
No.
Too dangerous.
How do you enforce that?
Well, that's the referee is going to give instructions in the locker room. According to Andy Foster, it's going to be hard sparring. Not they're not allowed to try to knock each other out.
Wow.
All right.
That's truly an exhibition.
I'd like to bet that doesn't happen. Can you bet on that? I want to.
No betting on the fight because it's an exhibition.
Oh shit! You can't even bet on this fight. No. I did not know that. Okay. Teaching me things, you guys. I don't know. I don't even know what to say to that. Any other questions?
Did you know Adesanya is commentating?
You know how to what?
Adesanya is commentating it.
Yeah, I did know that. He told me that before it happened. I knew that was coming.
But there's also no judges, and they're not going to announce a winner. So there's nothing there.
Shit, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
The hits keep coming.
Last thing here, Dana.
Yeah.
Any thought about the person that's going to be the new lightweight champion? Anything rattling around in your mind about?
Nah, I'm giving Habib some time, to think this over, and he and I are going to get together and meet soon. So.
Fair enough.
We'll talk. Did you have another one, brother?
Yeah. You said you're not going to go anywhere to have fans until you can have a full arena.
Right.
That is the plan in Abu Dhabi for Conor, though?
Yeah.
Is that going to be, like, can people buy tickets, or is it invited people? Or?
Still, I'm working on it still.
Okay. What, I guess, how difficult has that fight been to book? Has it been a pretty easy process for you?
The McGregor fight?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those two basically did it themselves. Those two said they wanted to fight. The contract not getting signed for a while by Conor, I mean, that didn't mean anything. That means nothing. Conor McGregor has never said, I'll fight, and then said, you know what, I'm not going to fight. He's never done that. So it was never even a concern for me.
Would you still be able to do it if there wasn't going to be fans?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
What I'm not going to do is I'm not going to take a 10,000 seat arena and sell 5,000 tickets. That I'm not. I'd rather stay here.
Hey, Dana, just quickly, there was been a rumor going around that Governor Sisolak might, end what you're doing, what Top Rank's doing. Have you had any communication with his office?
Say that again?
Is there a chance that the governor won't let you continue to do this now since the coronavirus is getting worse? There was a rumor around that potentially he was going to put an order out saying that he wasn't going to allow Top Rank or you to keep doing these shows.
I never heard anything remotely close to that.
You had no...
Look at what we've done. I mean, you know what I mean? That would be madness. Yeah, I haven't heard anything even remotely close to that. Go ahead, ma'am.
Las Vegas Aces guard Kelsey Plum sat in with the matchmakers recently. How did that come about, and you expect to see her back?
Because we saw her on Instagram saying that she wanted to be a UFC matchmaker when she was done playing basketball. So we brought her in, we walked her through the matchmaking 101, and we let her make a couple of fights. And yeah, she's awesome. She's a good kid, and we had a blast with her. So yeah, I'm open to it.
Well, she's incredibly competitive. I can imagine there was kind of some smack talk going on, and
I liked how, you know what? I liked how she walked into the room and was just like, she had her shit all written down. She knew what she wanted, and she wasn't shy. She's actually really cool. We had a good time with her. We good? Happy holidays, you guys. What's up, man?
One last thing. I know you're not a fan of Bob Arum. For boxing fans everywhere, they want to thank you for forcing him to put that Teofimo Lomachenko fight because of what y'all been doing in the UFC. That ESPN forced their hand. So how does it feel to be giving back to the combat sports community?
You keep setting me up with these things tonight, these great things, and asking me how I feel. How else could I feel but great about that? I love it. Make Bob Arum spend some more money. I love it.
What you think about that fight?
What did I think about it?
Yeah.
I didn't see the Lomachenko fight. I was on Fight Island. Yeah. I didn't see it. But thank you again. Happy holidays, you guys.
even though everybody on the street would be pissed that I just cut you off. Trying to help a brother out. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's called Dana 1 and 2. Find it?
Valentina, congratulations on a very dominant performance. Overall, right now, how are you feeling about the way the fight went tonight?
Amazing. Feel so good, feel great. I'm happy that now I can say I'm back like 100%, and I don't want to wait anymore like long time layoff without fighting, so I'm ready to get back and have another title defense.
Nice. Was there any concern tonight when you came in that physically you might not be at 100%?
No. On my training camp, we tested my body for like the full power, and I knew for sure it's gonna be, it's gonna do everything needed. That's why it took a little bit, like few months more, to be sure that I will be back like 100%. But I knew it's gonna be everything fine. But now I know it more.
We're getting to the point now where people are surprised to see you lose rounds, basically. So what was going through your mind in round two? Was there any concern at all that, you know, like what's going on here?
It was not kind of like there is some dangerous situations sometimes, and you are like, oh, this is a bad situation, and I don't know how to escape from this. And I was like, kind of like testing, probably seeing how it feels, how it's look, and I was like, okay, there is no damage in here, but I was like in my mind, but it's not good position for you, get out from there and never go back.
The takedowns played a big part in your game tonight. I thought you were having a lot of success on the feet too, but did you expect for the takedowns to factor into your game as much, or is that something you kind of decided on the fly?
I train my coach Pavel. He every time train me to do anything. On our training camp, we work stand-up, ground, wrestling, and when the time of the fight, I let my body to pick the technique what it wants to bring the victory. So it picked a lot of takedowns.
Very nice. And Dana was here earlier, and he said he likes the idea of Jessica Andrade for you next, if that's a fight that he believes makes sense. Do you feel the same, that that's the right next challenger?
Every time, I don't choose my opponents. Whoever will gonna be in front of me, I'm gonna face. So for me, it doesn't do any difference. Andrade or something else, someone else, or whoever. I think it would be fair to have Andrade against Lauren Murphy, because Lauren Murphy, she showed her strengths and she has a lot of wins, like straight wins. So, but the question, if I want to wait that much, I don't want to wait that much, because I was waiting a lot already, and I'm not agreed to wait more, because their fights and they have to recover, and it's gonna be a few months from here, and I'm ready to go back to the octagon as soon as I feel good, and I feel good.
Okay, last thing for me, I want to ask you. You said quick turnaround is what you want. Do you ideally have a month, like a time ready that you think, hey, it's January, it's February, it's March? What makes sense for you?
I didn't think about it yet, and I think I'm gonna think about it tomorrow, because today we're gonna celebrate, but it's not gonna be long.
Valentina, congratulations. First thing I want to ask you is, what did Antonina's victory and how good she looked do for you? Did it give you a little extra motivation when you were watching that in the back?
She did so amazing that in my thought it was, I have to do the same. And it was like, when I saw her victory, it was, okay, we have 1-0, now we have to have 2 zeros, because I don't want to come back and feel some bad because of me. And that's why I told to myself, there is no way you're gonna come back to the house gonna back home with not a victory. There is no way.
I wonder, Jennifer is a black belt. She's, has great jiu-jitsu. The fact that you were going to the ground with her showed a lot of confidence in your ground game. But I want to just go inside your decision to do that. Was there things that you saw that led you to go for the takedowns as opposed to trying to just do stand-up that you actually were doing very well in toward the end of the fight?
I don't have any doubt in my ground game, first. I don't have any doubt to have in my stand-up game and wrestling game as well. That's why I don't feel a fear to go in some positions that I don't like, because I like them all. I don't have just fear. I feel very confident on the ground, stand-up, wrestling. That's why, how I said before, I let my body to pick what technique it wants to use to bring the victory. And I knew I test her, I test Jennifer's skills, and I knew I can do it. That's why I went for it.
What did you feel she was best at? I mean, did she threaten you at all? You said before that you didn't feel any threats. What about her striking? I mean, did you feel she was better at one than the other?
I would say she was very good holding, to hold near the cage, because it's like, there is different body types of any people, and her body type, it's like has a lot of natural power, right? But it doesn't mean that it was kind of like hard for me there, but it was just hold. there is no damage, there is no nothing, just hold. And I was like, okay, you want to hold, whatever, I will strike you.
And my last question, Valentino, is: would you entertain a third fight with Amanda next year? Or, Dana mentioned you potentially fighting Wiley if Wiley wins the fight and comes up. What would be of most interest to you, a third fight with Amanda, or maybe fighting Wiley in a fight against her?
I think knowing that second hour fight I didn't lost to Amanda, I technically lost, but I don't. I think the it like not without fans, with a huge.
When your opponent was flattening you out and you're on your back and you know she's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I know you're good in Jiu-Jitsu, but were you having some thoughts that I have a black belt now on top of me, maybe I need to be very careful? Or what was your feeling if she would have started to try to go for some submissions?
I have feelings that I have to be careful. Doesn't matter what positions I am. Even when I strike, I have that feeling that I have to be careful. This is the most what I have. As I know, it's only one mistake and you can lose everything. And this is not for me. I don't want to lose it.
Absolutely.
Sincer cannot do nothing because I saw how she was training, how you will see two sisters having UFC belt.
Nice. So maybe not the same division, or
I think the same time definitely not same
right,
division.
it can't be, right? But two different belts. That would be awesome. Well, congratulations again.
Thank you. You're gonna be like in front of me, something like that. You are losing motivation. There is no motivation because you feel it's passing easy everyone, but it's not like that. Because the way what I did to become UFC champion, it's not one people can imagine that they're gonna do it, because I already fight for UFC. And me, I was starting doing martial arts.
Girls before the fight started, like I saw it when you fought Kaden Shahagan and when you fought Jessica I, because like seems like they come in, they know that they can't. If Amanda Nunes they knock you out, and we know who all she's knocked out, what can they do? And that's what avenue they don't have. How does it feel to have that? How's it that aura of, I'm gonna say invincibility, but that extra swag, as they say in the streets, that know that they are already kind of mentally defeated when they get in there with you?
I don't think that it's really happened here, because UFC, it's a top league. There is no amateurs. There is, and the best, they are having different mental settings in their head. They don't have this fear, because the fight is fight. Of course, you're gonna face some opponent, some very strong opponent, but they're gonna go there to lose. I don't think so, because here only the best one who is fighting in UFC.
How many times do you plan on fighting in 2021 if you have your way?
I would like to see 3-4 times at least, maybe more. Who knows?
Thanks and congratulations again.
Thank you.
Congrats, champ. Would you say with the success your mother had earlier this week and then the victory of your sister and yourself, this was the most successful week in the Shevchenko family history?
Definitely, yes. It was the most successful so far. I think it's going to be even more in the future. And, knowing that our mom became world champion in shadow boxing, it gave us, for me and my sister, so big motivation. And I would say that our family, because we are all women who do martial arts, and it's real example of women power.
Valentina, do you have an end date in mind for this career? You've done it for so long, as you mentioned, since training since you were 5 years old. Is there a number like age 35 or age 36 or 34 that you're thinking about? Could you tell us?
I don't have a date. I think it's very early, 35, 36, because, I believe that a person who has who still have it desire, technique, power, strength, it has to use it till the end.
Yeah.
Because if you decide to okay, I'm gonna stop it now, and probably after a few years you are thinking why I wouldn't try to do it again. I come back from my retirement. But there is another factor that you are not the same person. You are older. You lost your skills because you didn't enough good trainings, and you didn't maintain your spirit of the fighter. And the time is already gone. And then you are look back and it's so frustrating why I took that decision. That's why I am a person who believe you have to use your potential right now, right today, before you're gonna feel, okay, this is time to do something else.
Absolutely. Some fighters, though, seem like they don't get it, and then they start losing, and pretty soon the women you can beat now, they're beating you. Do you feel like before you see your skills go lower and lower and lower, for sure you'll get out? We don't have to see you start getting beaten up when you're older?
I tell you what, my skills never get lower. It's not gonna be lower, lower, and lower. It's gonna be higher, higher, and higher.
Even as you get older?
Till 50s.
I love it. All respect to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Let's see who he has. Maybe he'll make Waleed. I know, right? Look, no mark, barely. No mark now. I would hope. Waleed is there. Gotta hope these guys good. There we go.
How you doing, brother?
Davison, congratulations on your victory tonight. Your first title defense, first pay-per-view headliner, first Vegas fight. What's the feeling like for you right now?
Davidson, parabéns. Pay-per-view, luta principal. Como é que você está se sentindo agora?
Bom, eu estou muito feliz. Eu e minha equipe trabalhamos para dar esse big show hoje aqui no evento, né? Então, eu entrei lá, falei que ia finalizar esse cara no primeiro round e finalizei. Eu cumpri com o que sempre eu falo antes das lutas.
You know, I'm very happy. And I told everybody, if you guys remember, I'm gonna submit him in the first round. And I did again. I promised something and I'm do it. This is what he keep saying. He did this with Benavides, gonna knock out him in the second round, and he knocked out Benavides in the second round. On the second fight, he said he's gonna submit Benavides because Benavides never was submit in the first round, and he submit Benavides. Now yesterday, tell everybody I'm gonna submit him in the first round, and he submit Alex Perez in the first round. You know, he's a kind of champion. Say what you're gonna do and do it.
Can you talk about the mentality of coming in this evening? How does it feel different as being a champion? Is there an added pressure? Are there added nerves? Anything as a champion versus a challenger?
O que mudou hoje? Qual foi a pressão? Porque você sendo campeão, teve muita pressão, porque você não era mais o desafiante, você é o campeão. Teve muita pressão por isso?
Bom, eu não vejo pressão em cima de mim. Eu sou um cara bem paciente no que eu quero. Eu sabia que estava defendendo ali algo que é meu, que é o meu cinturão. E eu estava ali para nocautear o cara, para mostrar a ele que eu sou superior a ele. Então eu não nocauteei, mas eu finalizei, como eu falei. Eu finalizei no primeiro round e mostrei a minha superioridade a ele.
I'm very patient. I come here, no pressure. I know this is my belt. I know I'm gonna be the champion for a long time. You know, I have no pressure at all. And I come here to do what I told everybody I'm gonna do. Submit in the first round. He said to everybody, I'm gonna finish the fight in the first round. And he finished the fight in the first round.
So you get the guillotine choke, and I'm curious what the thought process is, right? Because if you miss the choke, you might tire your arms out very early, but you said, no, I'm sticking with it. So what was going through your head that you said, I've got this, I'm staying with it?
Quando tu pegou a guilhotina, tu ficou apertando, o que foi na tua cabeça? Posso ficar cansado?
Não, na verdade,
eu vou continuar apertando.
Na verdade, eu peguei ele ali na guilhotina e a guilhotina não estava totalmente encaixada. Eu olhei para o meu treinador, eu não olhei, eu escutei a voz do meu treinador, Ian Coelho, né, do jiu-jitsu, e ele me falou, não abandona a posição que tá pegando, os olhos dele estão fechados. Eu disse, bom, então eu não vou abandonar, vou arrochar agora. Aí foi aí que eu apertei mais ainda e fazendo com que ele desse os 3 tapinhas ali.
You know what? When I get to the guillotine, I hold and he listen his coach, Ian Coelho, his jiu-jitsu coach, tell him, don't let it go, not let it go. Hold, because he closed his eyes. He closed the eyes. He gonna tap, like, you know what I mean? The coach saw the guy gonna tap, say, okay, now I'm gonna hold, and the guy tapped 3 times. The Alex tapped 3 times.
And Dana was here earlier, and he said that he'd like for you to stay in Vegas and fight Moreno in December. Does that sound like a plan to you? Is that what you'd like to do? And if so, would it be difficult to make weight again that quickly?
Bom, Dana falou que queria que tu lutasse agora em dezembro. O que esse é teu plano? Vai lutar em dezembro? Como é que tá a tua cabeça agora para isso? Vai bater o peso tão rápido assim?
Pois é uma pressão muito grande, mas essa mesma pressão que eu vou sofrer, o Brandon Moreno também vai sofrer. O cara que bateu peso ontem, então vamos enfrentar a mesma dificuldade com ele. Mas vamos ver que surpresa eu vou ter essa noite, né? Eu dei um show da noite lá, eu espero pelo menos ganhar o bônus da noite. Ganhando o bônus da noite, eu fico para fazer essa luta com o Brandon Moreno.
You know, the pressure I gonna have to get the weight, he gonna have. You know, we in the same spot. It's the war for both sides. If I have pressure, he's gonna have pressure. But you know, I'm gonna come back to the hotel because I gave a wonderful show for everybody. You know, he's a kind of champion. Say what he gonna do and do it. What better champion to that? And he not get the bonus of the night. He say, hey Dana, if you really like me, really I'm fighting here, you need to give him the bonus of the night for sure, because I deserve. I'm performance. I bring back the excitement for flyweight category because the champion say what you gonna do it and do it. There is no prize. How many people of the world gonna watch now flyweight division and he not get bonus of the night? This is unbelievable. He told me, I wanna come back to Brazil. Say no, relax. The boss is gonna take care of you because this is say that.
Davison, over here. Do you have a prediction for Brandon Moreno for a what round or submission or knockout?
Hey, you have a prediction for... My bad.
That's all right.
It's a bad translate. Tu tem a previsão para a luta com o Brandon Moreno? Como é que vai ser? Se acontecer, se vier surpresa da noite, como você vai... tu trouxe tua bola de cristal aí? Tu vai nocautear ou tu vai finalizar?
Bom, olhando fisicamente para o Brandon Moreno, é um cara que se eu tocar nele, eu parto ele no meio. E eu vou colocar o Brandon Moreno para baixo e vou finalizá-lo. Não vou fazer o mínimo de esforço possível para isso acontecer. Ele mesmo tocando em mim vai cair e eu vou amassar ele e vou finalizá-lo.
You know, I think I'm gonna destroy him. If I touch him, I'm gonna put him in like I'm gonna break him just in touching him. Because Brandon Moreno talk a lot of bad things about him. And he have a personal problem with the Brandon Moreno. And he think he's gonna destroy Brandon Moreno in December. But he wanted the boss show the desire to see this fight.
Champ, when you joined the UFC in 2017, not long after that, they started cutting flyweights. And they even traded the former champion to another organization. Were you concerned when you saw that I may never get my shot in the UFC to win the championship because of what was happening at that time?
Quando você entrou no UFC, logo depois eles começaram a querer cortar essa categoria. O que você achou disso quando eles começaram a querer cortar? Se preocupou com isso?
Bom, eu particularmente me preocupei sim. Eu era um cara que estava chegando na categoria quando surgiu a novidade que queriam tirar minha categoria, né, do UFC. E de imediato eu tomei uma decisão, nocautear todos na minha categoria e mostrar a eles que tem alguém de potencial para segurar a categoria. E esse sou eu. Eu tô aqui para animar, para dar show nessa categoria.
Yes, I was very, very concerned about the finish of the flyweight division. You know, when he saw the people talk about it's gonna finish, he said, hey, I come to flyweight division to knock out, to submit everybody, to bring back the excitement, show the world the power of the flyweight division. He always think I'm gonna save this weight class because the people don't know my power. I'm gonna show everybody I can submit and knock out everybody and give a good show for the people.
I think Henry Cejudo would probably take issue with you saying you saved the flyweight division. I think Henry would say he did that. But when did, for you, you see it start to turn around? Was there a point where you started to get confident that, hey, the UFC is committed to flyweights and that they're going to keep us on? Was there one point where you started to relax and feel like you had a chance?
Quando foi o momento que você começou a ver que a categoria ia continuar, que você começou a relaxar, dizer, pô, não, essa categoria vai continuar. E aí no começo falou que quem também começou a trazer coisa boa para a categoria foi o Cejudo.
Ah, verdade. Isso não discordo. O Henry Cejudo foi um grande cara também que fez a categoria permanecer. E ele saiu da categoria, né? Decidiu subir e eu assumi o posto aí. Então, agora eu estou sustentando a categoria. E vou sustentar por longos tempos. Eu sou o dono do cinturão. Sou o melhor peso por peso que tem.
Yeah, you know, this is true. Henry Cejudo was a great champion. Was very important for the flyweight weight class. But now I am the champion. I'm gonna hold this category. I'm gonna show the world what we can do. O que mais falou no final? Vai ficar muito tempo. I'm gonna be for long time champion of the flyweight division. You guys can write down everything I say. I predict it happen. Don't forget that.
And then my last question, and thank you, Waleed, for that. My last question would be, when you look at the talent in the division in 2017 compared to where it is today, do you think it's significantly better now than it was then?
Quando você olha para a categoria em 2017, você olha para a categoria agora, você acha que a categoria está melhor agora?
Eu acho que em 2017 tinha muitos caras bons na categoria. E esses caras não estão mais, né? E eu gostaria que eles tivessem. Demetrio Johnson. Tem um russo que eu não lembro o nome dele aqui no momento. Mas eram uns caras muito bons, fortes. Até mesmo o Breno Moreno. Sempre deu show nas lutas dele. Então, hoje resta um pouco, mas eu tenho certeza que tem muitos talentos ainda que vão surgir. Mas eu vou estar sempre preparado para quem for que venha tentar pegar o meu cinturão.
You know, yes, I have some good guys on this time. Brandon Moreno fought in 2017. Qual outro falou? Brandon Moreno?
Um russo aí, não lembro o nome dele.
The Russian, he not remember the name. The Master Johnson. But now he think he one of these guys in his category because he wanna beat everybody. He wanna clean the flyweight division. You know what I mean? This is what he wanna. He wanna everybody think is good, try to fight against him.
When you clean out the flyweight division, is bantamweight possible next, or is that something that's not going to be of any interest to you?
Se você limpar a categoria centro e a flyweight, você acha que você pode ir para bantamweight, para de cima, para 61?
Isso com certeza, sem sombra de dúvidas. Eu sou um cara que meu pensamento está muito forte em subir, mas eu ainda devo muito à categoria 57 quilos. E eu estou aqui para cumprir com o que eu falei, vou defender o meu cinturão.
5 vezes e já defendi uma, ainda tem 4 aí para cumprir.
You know, I really think I have a strong mind, but I have the commitment with the flyweight division. He wanna defend his belt for 5 times and make it depend for the boss. If the boss wanna he go up, show he gonna, you know what I mean? Everything depends what the people wanna see. You know what I mean? He's an entertainer fighter, and for sure he wanna be the champion for battleweight division.
We're here. A question for Davison and also for you, Walid. How many days would you think he would think about signing the contract? Because the date seems to be December 12th or 19th.
It's December 12th. You know, he was really disappointed when he not got the bonus of the night because the performance he gave for everybody. And I push him to stay here, not come back to Brazil, because December 12th is now. But they're gonna talk to Dana, to Hunter, to Mick. They're gonna put him to stay because I wanna see this fight. You know what I mean? It's good for the sport. It's good to show his power. He little bit, he very disappointed. This is the truth. You know what I mean? He come to me, say, "But let's go to Brazil." To say, "No, relax, man, relax. The UFC always good with you." You know what I mean? Because UFC always good with him. You know what I mean? No doubt about. No doubt about. You know what I mean? UFC is wonderful, man. I told him, "Hey, relax. We're gonna figure it out." And I think we're gonna stay here, gonna fight on December 12th card and give another show. The most important, show the world the power of this category. But you remember, guys, I told this before he be champion. Hey, this is a great category. This is a great weight class. And when you have a champion, say what he gonna do and do it. This is a priceless. And his guy is a kind of champion. Yesterday he said that I'm gonna submit. You remember?
He did, yes.
And go every place he go, I'm gonna knock out the submission. No, he say, if you see the right translation, say, no, I'm gonna hurt him and after submission him. If you see the translation, because I say I'm gonna submit or knock out him, but the right translation yesterday was, I'm gonna punch, I'm gonna hurt him and after submit him. And he did in the first round. How much is this for the sport? This is a price less. He's a real champion. What's the question for him? What was the question for him?
No, it's okay. It's a good thing.
Anything else?
Davidson.
Davidson, thank you, Davidson.
Sua esquerda.
You don't need a translation for this one. Thank you.
Tudo bom, Davidson? Eu queria saber qual foi a dificuldade para se você teve, né, alguma dificuldade para bater o peso para essa luta e o quão difícil você imagina que seria ter que bater de novo para dezembro, dia 19.
Bom, dificuldade eu sempre tenho, né? Bater 57 quilos. Mas agora eu creio que vai ser eu nunca tive essa experiência, cara. Vai ser a minha primeira experiência. Mas eu creio que vai ser fácil, porque bati um dia desse 57 quilos. Se daqui a um mês para bater de novo, para mim é tranquilo. Eu quero ter essa experiência.
Você mencionou a questão do bônus, né? Quão surpreso você ficou? Como foi receber essa notícia? Você tinha certeza que receberia? E se você estava brincando, está falando sério que depende de uma recompensa ou de um bônus chegando no hotel para essa luta sair do papel em dezembro?
Pois é, eu estive acompanhando as lutas todas e dentre elas a minha luta eu fiz uma variação muito boa, cara. Eu fiz uma apresentação muito boa hoje e particularmente eu acho que eu mereço um bônus sim. E eu pegando esse bônus eu fico aqui para fazer a luta com o Brandon Moreno. Eu acredito no UFC e sei que ele vai rever isso aí para me dar um bônus nessa luta.
Certo. Você mencionou a questão de defender 5 vezes o cinturão, hoje foi a primeira. De onde vem esse desejo? Por que você estipulou essa meta? E a partir do momento, depois a 5ª subir de categoria é o próximo passo?
A situação é que quanto mais a idade vai passando, mais difícil fica perder peso. Eu sou um cara que vou fazer 33 e eu já sinto uma grande dificuldade para perder peso, já não é mais como antes. Eu demoro a perder. Mas eu estou disponível aí para fazer mais 4 defesas e subir de categoria.
Só mais 2 perguntas então. Primeiro, eu queria saber por que você chegou nesse número? Você conversou com a sua equipe? Por que essa meta? Algum recorde que você quer bater? Pessoal?
Bom, na verdade, cara, não é uma... como posso te falar? É mais questão de perda de peso mesmo. Eu não quero ficar tanto tempo sofrendo para bater 57 quilos. E com 35 anos aí eu já quero estar lutando mesmo por lutar sem estar sofrendo esse negócio de perda de peso. Dieta todos os dias, longos meses.
Certo. A última pergunta que eu queria fazer, antes de pedir para você mandar um recado, né? Demetrius Johnson. Por que você acha que o Demetrius não conseguiu manter a categoria em alta, sendo que ele finalizava e nocauteava, né? Das 11 defesas, 7 foram por via rápida. O que você tem de diferente para manter a categoria atrativa?
Bom, Demetrius Johnson é um fenômeno, né? O cara que nocauteava, finalizava. Mas ele não tem o que eu tenho, pô. Eu tenho estilo. E eu tô aqui, eu sou um cara... como que eu posso falar? Danger. Sou um cara carismático, perigoso. Eu tô aqui na categoria para nocautear, eu sou feroz. E isso faz a categoria ficar animada. Com esse meu jeito, eu faço a categoria ficar animada.
I can translate that. This is a good answer. He asking why you think Demetrius Johnson cannot finish 7 of the 10 fights, correct? 7 from 11 fights. Why you gonna make different? And he said, I'm a stylist guy. I'm a charismatic guy. And I'm feroz. Como é que é feroz? Like I'm danger. I'm really gentle. Como é que é feroz?
I'm dangerous.
Danger, you know what I mean? I'm danger. And everything I gonna do it, I say before. And I do it. This bring the attention. Everybody wanna see. This guy gonna do this. He's gonna do. He said something, but he gonna do. And this is what he do. He say what he gonna do and do it.
My teacher,
he say he have the whole package.
My teacher Lovato. My little name is Danger.
My little name is Danger. And another thing, he gonna be choose the best fighter of the year. He need to be the top 3 fighters, the best fighter pound per pound. There's no doubt about. The performance he did this year, he need to be in the top 5 pound per pound, no doubt about.
Last for me, Davidson, de novo, se você puder mandar um recado para os fãs do Brasil que estão vendo ao vivo aqui, que eles podem esperar do Davidson, talvez para dezembro e para 2021 também.
Galera do Brasil que estão me vendo ao vivo, forte abraço para vocês. Hoje, mais uma vez, eu cumpri com a minha palavra, entrei dentro do octógono e finalizei no primeiro round, levando mais um cinturão para nós no Brasil. E estou aqui para dar show, continue mandando essa energia positiva e eu vou estar sempre representando muito bem vocês e mostrando um pouquinho do meu show em cada luta que eu entrar dentro do octógono.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
Thank you guys, good night.
Speak English, come on, say something. Fala alguma coisa em inglês.
My English poquito. Eu hablo também mexicano.
Eu hablo americano. Go. But this guy need to be in top 5 pound per pound, no doubt.
Davis.
Fica aí, David, fica com o cinturão aí, isso. Estilo. Style.
Obrigado.
Thank you guys, thank you. Vamos botar a ponta aqui,
There you go, that's it.
Acabou, ali. Aqui, acabou, calma, vai pra onde? Vem aqui todo o time, vê o time. Vamos ver o time, já que tá aqui, vamos lá o time todo.
Tem comida ali no
É.
final?
We come back, we're gonna do for... Let's go. Pra esse lado aqui, pra esse lado, pô. Vamos, caboclo. Ah, vai ficar aí, pode bater, sim. Desse lado, pô, pra balancear. Ali, pô. Ali primeiro. Aqui primeiro, aqui. Aí. Isso, falar.
My mexicano, my brother, cadê ele?
Cadê o novato? Speak. My name. Não, isso é for México. Habla espanhol, do espanhol.
Saludos a México. Saludos a México.
You speak English.
Mexicano.
Nós latino. Thank you guys. Bye. Thank you. Appreciate it. I swear.
Yeah. Packs up and leaves. He doesn't even puts in the number. 12:30. 12:30-ish.
That's what I just said.
No, I said ish. Your 30 minutes would have been 12:20. Yeah.
No, I think the